Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast off.
Your fortress of solitude.
Greetings, program.
Glad you're alive.
Your sanctum sanctorum.
Resistance is futile.
Welcome.
This is the first triumph. This is where the fun begins.
Proof positive that geeks have inherited the earth.
It's showtime.
It's time to get your geek on.
You complete me.
With Dave Gramillion.
Oh, yes! Welcome here. I am Dave Gramillion. This is Get Your Geek On, the geekiest show on all of talk radio, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. Here we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, a whole lot of Doctor Who. Really, all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not really what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 930 AM The Answer Talk Radio and 930amtheanswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode 6, and tonight, my God, there is so much news to talk about. We have D23 news. We have San Diego Comic-Con news. We have John Boyega news. We have a plethora of Doctor Who news to get in. We have DC news, video game news, Atari news, Ghostbusters news, Halle Berry drinking news. We have quite the level of news to talk about tonight. So, you know what? We're just going to have to hurry up and try to get to it all. I have two ladies in here in studio with me today, and I'm very grateful that they were able to take the time out to come in. We are going to be talking Doctor Who with Tamara and Lisa, our local resident Whovian goddesses. They'll be on here in just a little bit, but first I want to make sure that I have everything I need in order to make this the premier talk radio show that it is, and that includes me having something to drink, because if you're going to talk for 52 minutes and 20 seconds, the throat gets dry. You know, you got to have something to drink. I also want to make sure that I have a back scratcher available to me, because in the middle of the show, you get that one spot in the middle of your back. Everybody has that one spot in the middle of the back that can't reach. And it's awful embarrassing for me to try to squirm and try to get it, so I have a back scratcher just in case. Also, I want to make sure that I have, oh God, please let it work this time, my lightsaber, Old Blue. It worked the first time. Yay! Thank God for new batteries. Also, we have added to our checklist my Christmas gift from last year, my sonic screwdriver. There we go. So we're covered there, especially for this week. And also want to make sure that I'm wearing something geeky. Now, I am wearing my Think Geek Star Wars Alliance hat. However, Goose and I got a little gift.
I got a gift. You actually paid money.
Well, so we have a deal with Ripped Apparel, RIPTapparel.com, at which anybody who listens, anybody who's a fan of the show, using the promo code GYGO gets 10% off their order, regardless of how big or small, if it's a clearance shirt or not. And so we went ahead and we picked up some shirts. I have it's a South Park Dragon Ball Z mashup. Right, it's Krillin, it's Gohan, and it's Piccolo, and they're looking at a dead Yamcha, and they said, "Oh my God, they killed Yamcha!" Yeah, and then see, you're saying it already. See, that's what I love about it.
Very good.
Y'all can finish the line there.
Yes,
Goose, what are you rocking on behalf of Ripped Apparel?
Well, on behalf of Ripped Apparel, I've got a Transformers Star Wars mashup called The Last Prime. It's got Optimus and Galvatron, and then right in the middle is Rodimus Prime holding the Matrix.
It looks like the movie poster for the Last Jedi, but it's Transformers. So you can also get these awesome shirts at Ripped Apparel, RIPTapparel.com, and you get 10% off when you use the code GYGO. Thank you, Rip. These are, and they feel good too. They're comfortable.
They're very nice.
I mean, it's not itchy or anything. I mean, these are some nice shirts. I really like this.
I paid full price for shirts at Rip before. Now I get 10% off. Yay,
boom.
me.
There you go. Alrighty. So that being said, let's go ahead and get right to it. We've got a lot of news. So here we go. We're going to bring on our guests, Lisa and Tamara, our local Whovian goddesses, to talk some Doctor Who news.
It's just a jump to the left.
And then a step to the right.
Put your hands on your hips.
You bring your knees inside. And it's a
right, Lisa and Tamara, thank y'all so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having us.
We always love having y'all on. I know this is Lisa's first time, but it's not Tamara's first time, so Lisa gets to count herself now as part of our Get Your Geek On alumni.
Yay.
I know it's such
like a pen, t-shirt.
we have
jacket?
we'll have jackets made. You know,
Okay.
Alrighty, so heavens above, we finally get the news about our doctor, who is going to follow in Capaldi's footsteps. And heavens above, the news came down that it's a woman. Panic ensued. Stock markets crashed. The seas boiled. Dogs and cats living together.
Same roof.
Mass hysteria. That appears to be the reaction that we got off of social media. Ladies, your reaction to Jodie Whittaker.
Welcome.
She's a great actress.
Yeah, she is a great actress.
So,
and the showrunner Chibnall, he's worked with her before, so he knows what she's capable of. If you haven't seen her in Broadchurch, she really is an amazing actress there. She was in Attack the Block with help me,
John Boyega.
Thank you. I never can pronounce the name, so I'm real bad about that. He knows what he's doing. Okay, I have faith in him. He's written for Doctor Who before. He wrote for Torchwood, of course. He was a showrunner for Torchwood.
And to be clear, we're not talking about John Boyega.
No. Sorry.
Okay.
Chibnall. Sorry. So I'm the whole thing. It's fine. I have every confidence that they got the best performer for that. I don't care who it was.
But it's a woman. I mean, we can't have this. How can a shape-shifting alien fictional character be a woman? How is it possible?
Yeah,
that shape-shifting alien part,
Yeah.
I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
To how is it possible?
And it shouldn't be a surprise. Okay, they've been hinting at this for years.
Right.
Okay, Matt Smith, the first thing he did when he regenerated, he grabbed his hair and went, "Oh, I'm a girl," and then he's like, realized he wasn't when he hit his Adam's apple. I mean, they've been hinting.
I'm just disappointed she's not ginger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know,
She should have
right?
been ginger.
So,
other than that,
do y'all think Missy was kind of a trial balloon?
yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
She was successful. I mean,
She was very
was
successful. My
Michelle
goodness.
Gomez is
It was
like
great.
Michelle
she's
Gomez is amazing.
brilliant.
Now, my point of view is this. Doctor has no gender
Right.
in our language. I mean, you can have many different doctors with various
Well, I'm a
degrees.
nurse.
You're a nurse. I mean, you understand. So there are actually women doctors.
There
then.
are women doctors.
Wow. So I know, but
And there's
it's-
male nurses.
What? So it's. I saw this on Facebook. My favorite thing out of all the headlines, out of all the memes that I saw, the one that I loved the most was the one that said. It was a Dalek, and it said "equal extermination."
That's a good
There
one.
you go.
I mean, we're going to kill you whether you're a male or female or whatever. It doesn't matter. Now, the argument that people have been posting, which drives me crazy. I hate this argument. Is what's next? Jane Bond, a female Sherlock Holmes, a female Batman. To which I reply, yeah, guys, those are specifically male characters. The Doctor was never meant to be strictly male.
Right.
Well, I mean, even the show's creator back in the 80s was in favor of regenerating the Doctor into a woman back then. And, one of the first showrunner was a woman. Okay, it's not like this should be a big deal, and like you pointed out, it's an alien, and there's precedence in the show for characters flopping not only gender but also race.
And what's amusing about this is that people are saying, okay, so why now? Why not? Why not before? And it's look, in the history of the show, 52 years, I believe, the history of the show, there have only been 12 actors to play the Doctor. Okay, in the 200 and something year history of the country, we've only had 45 presidents.
Right.
Okay, true, a woman hasn't gotten there yet, but we had our first African American president. Well, how come that didn't happen before?
Right.
Because change takes time.
Right.
And now is the right time. We have the right actress. We have the right person in charge. We have the right writing crew behind this. And why not now? It's 2017 already.
Right.
I don't understand the whole Jane Bond argument. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. It's not like, I'm about to show my age here.
Go ahead.
It's not like Starsky and Hutch are driving down the road and Starsky's suddenly a woman.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing. It's a shape-shifting alien.
And it's in the service of the story. Okay, if you go back and especially the last couple of episodes and you watch, I really think that the whole idea. I mean, with Capaldi, if you haven't seen it, go watch it and don't tell me spoilers. If you haven't seen, he's I'm not going to change. Okay, he's not. They're talking to us, folks. I mean, they're talking to the fan base. The whole purpose of Doctor Who from the very beginning has been change. That's the big theme.
And one of the things that gets me, and I saw this argument recently, was that, well, when Matt Smith changed, Claire Oswald said, what's going on? And he says, the Doctor, he's a coming. See, so that means that he's supposed to be. He doesn't know. It's just writing, people. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, they didn't say Zer's a coming or Zay's or whatever the social justice warrior pronoun system is.
Right.
I mean, it's nothing like that. So it's not like all of a sudden we have a Jane Kirk. We don't have an established male character that all of a sudden they flipped it just because it's not fair to women that James T. Kirk was a guy and made out with all those women also. It's not like that happened. This is meant to be a shape-shifting alien fictional character.
If the Doctor was a more sexual character, then I can see where that would be an argument. But he has his companions. Yes, he has a wife, but it's not in your face. It's not like River and the Doctor are just like making out every time they get a chance, and you've got the blue-black screen like it's Top Gun. It's a completely different show.
Yeah, he fought off Amy Pond.
Not that there's anything wrong with the blue-black screen. I'm just saying.
Anybody who can fight off Karen Gillan,
God bless him.
Come on. So now here's the fun part is when the social justice warriors get involved, which quite a few of them did, and that includes Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian is a well-known anti-male gaming activist. I'm probably not putting that correctly, but basically her point of view is that video games are too sexualized against women. And
I am not going to argue that. I agree.
So, but she's also sounded off on the Doctor Who controversy, and here's the direct quote from her. First of all, it's nice to know that she's not exactly thrilled with the change. It's not like she said, oh, goody, we have a woman. Now let's do this. Instead, she just started railing on the show. Quote, it's not as if you fix the woman problem.
Ooh,
I didn't know y'all were a problem, by the way.
Problem.
Y'all are women are a
Well,
problem.
maybe me personally. But
She goes on to say, and then you fix the race problem. Then you fix the queer trans problem, etc. It all has to happen in tandem. So apparently what she wants is a disabled doctor of color who is also non-binary and gender fluid.
Yes.
At the same time.
Because that would be accepted like that.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sure the BBC would be just getting glowing letters and the ratings would not tank at all.
So 22 years ago, we got our first major female lead in a major science fiction franchise.
we were
And there's a perfect clip that fits right now.
You know, I'm really easy to get along with most of the time. But I don't like bullies, and I don't like threats, and I don't like you.
I think that sums it up nicely.
Well, and it's not like the first time they haven't changed a gender in a franchise either. Look at Starbuck.
And I wouldn't know where the Doctor Who had a race problem. Who was the companion for the Peter Capaldi most recently?
Yeah, really.
And
that's
she
right.
was a woman of color who was homosexual, who was...
Okay, but
Brilliant.
Go back
It was
and look.
great. It was
She was
not that
brilliant.
it matters.
Yeah, she was
not that
wonderful.
it matters.
But go back and
Right.
look. I mean, John Barrowman. Look at Captain Jack. Okay, you're talking about some serious fluidity there when it talks
absolutely.
to.
And even then, Mickey in season 1 as a companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And then we go back.
and-
there were other companions.
Martha
of
Jones.
color
Martha
throughout-
Jones.
Martha Jones, who was a doctor.
Right.
Who was a woman
A
doctor of
female
color.
doctor
Yes.
of color.
And Anita Sarkeesian goes on to say, quote, it needs to be said, I don't know why it needs to be said, but apparently it
Needs
does,
to be
quote,
said.
it needs to be said that Doctor Who is still an overwhelmingly white show and that issues of representation do not exist in isolation from each other, end quote. Okay, it's an overwhelmingly white show. I don't understand why it needs to be said. She said
it doesn't need to be said based on what we just said. We had Martha, we had Mickey, we had Bill, we have the weird episode with the family of blood,
right?
Yeah, that is just, to me, one of those weird episodes where you're like, these people are different.
And we had lizard people.
Right.
We had angels, stone angels. I mean,
Right.
it's a science fiction television show. I don't understand why it needs to be said that Doctor Who is an overwhelmingly white show. Why? Why do we care? It's been a great show.
Right.
Who cares?
But now when you compare it to American TV, all right, it's very diverse, and the BBC has a history of pretty much being, not always, but much more inclusive with actors of color and in roles that are traditionally white, and they cast them as that, and then it's never brought up. It's not an issue.
Right.
I think that as we get more and more accepting of just different people, because nobody is the same, everybody is different. By making all these categories, we're dividing people. We're giving somebody something to complain about.
We're labeling them.
Exactly.
And not only that, but we're focusing not on the show. We're focusing on the label, which is so against Dr. Martin Luther King. We're not focusing on the content of their character. We're focusing on the color of their skin or their sexual nature or whether they're able or whatever. It doesn't matter. We are not focusing on what should be focused on. And man, if I'm a writer for the show, I am so upset because I'm like, have you seen the work I've put out? Come on.
Right.
And even then, science fiction as a genre tends to be one of the most diverse genres of television and film.
It gave us Uhura.
It gave us Uhura. It gave us
the first generation
Worf.
there.
Yep.
It gave us Commander, and then later on Captain Benjamin Sisko.
In the 60s, it put a Soviet Russian on the bridge of a starship. In the 60s, not too far removed from the Cuban Missile Crisis.
In the midst of the Cold War, we had probably the bridge of the original USS Enterprise was a very diverse.
Absolutely.
And Doctor Who has always been very supportive of women. I mean, even early, Polly and her coffee comment notwithstanding, there were always some women scientists and characters that were very strong.
Very strong.
Sarah Jane.
That's the thing about the thing about
She's
the women of
amazing.
Doctor Who is that they are all strong characters.
Yeah, you don't get any pushovers really. In
Now,
Doctor
maybe
Who.
a few episodes there'll be damsels in distress, something for the Doctor to chase. But overall, though,
But even when there's a damsel in distress, modern Who, the Doctor gets rescued just as often as the companion does.
I love that part
42.
where David Tennant or Matt Smith says, "My life in your hands, Amelia Pond."
Exactly. But look at 42. Okay, in that episode alone, you had Martha needing to be saved by the Doctor, and then she turns right around and saves him.
Turn left.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was Captain
Donna.
Payne, Billy Piper, most of the show.
Now, my last question for y'all before we have to move, thank God, off of this into some worse political news. My last question. All right, so we have a female Doctor. She's not on screen yet, but we have her. So how much better are your lives now?
Oh, yeah.
Is the sun shining a little brighter, the birds singing a little better? Aren't your lives so much better now?
My life is so much better. I just can't wait for my paycheck to reflect it.
Exactly. The equality.
Yeah, it's magical.
Isn't it awesome?
My
for,
life
for y'all.
No, my life has been 100% improved because I don't have to go to the men's department anymore when I want to go cosplay. I can actually go in the women's department and maybe find a pair of pants that fits and not have to sit there and make it all myself.
Right. Alter.
Exactly.
Yeah. We can wear women's shoes instead of just
thank
boots.
God.
Oh, there we go. Finally.
we've been
Although
wearing
I'm
boots
not,
Finally.
I'm not giving up my Doc Martens.
I'm
okay?
fairly certain
Or my
she's probably
Converse.
going to be wearing boots a lot too because
really
they're very
hope
easy
so.
to run in.
The civil rights moment of our century right now. Thank God y'all were alive to see it.
I know.
Oh my God! Now y'all can reap the benefits.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be unfortunately all the time we have for Doctor Who. Well, maybe that's a good thing until Jodie Whittaker actually comes on, and we'll see how she does. So let's get into some more political flack from celebrities, and I hate this, but it happens.
You are stupid. 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 And don't forget, you are stupid.
Politics and geeks don't often get in, but when it does, God, it's just stupid. I can't stand it, but here we go. So John Boyega, who played Finn in Star Wars The Force Awakens, sounds off on racial inequality. Again. Now, I get it. There was a very, 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 very small minority of people that were upset that Finn was a lead actor in Star Wars. It was like, I think it was 5 people who were actually legitimately upset. But, of course, they get a humongous microphone because the press go looking for it and go, oh, look at all the races, oh, my God. So, in a GQ cover story, John Boyega has criticized the HBO hit series Game of Thrones, which just came out, and in its 7th season, and the premiere just was a ratings blockbuster. Everybody was talking about that, almost as much as the Doctor Who controversy. And he came out and said, quote, there are no black people in Game of Thrones. Well, okay, first of all, that's not true. There are black people in Game of Thrones. Now, maybe they're not the central characters, but you can't say that there are no black people in Game of Thrones. He goes on to say, quote, you don't see one black person in Lord of the Rings. Okay, he has a point there, I'll admit. And then he says, I ain't paying money to always see one type of person on screen. Okay, so I guess he hasn't really seen Game of Thrones. I guess he's a big Doctor Who fan in that case. And I guess he's never seen The Color Purple, which was, it's only nominated for 11 Oscars. He's never seen the original 1977 Star Wars. Clearly he hasn't seen that one.
He started with Empire.
That's exactly where he started. And he didn't start watching until Billy D. Williams was on screen. Right. He just, all of a sudden, how'd they get to Bespin? I don't know. They just got there, and there's Billy D. Williams. He added, quote, you see different people from different backgrounds, different cultures every day. Even if you're a racist, you have to live with that. Okay, so a little jab at the racists out there. Yeah, here's the thing about Game of Thrones is that it's based off of Northern European in the Middle Ages. Yeah. I mean, sorry, there were no direct flights from, Kenya or from Saudi Arabia or anything up to Paris or Norway in the 1300s. It just didn't exist. And if you don't like the show, fine, go watch something else. I mean, certainly, I guess that means he's never watched any Tyler Perry movies either, because there's only one type of person on screen in a Tyler Perry movie. Now I get what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is that there's racial underrepresentation in shows, which I agree with. I absolutely agree with. But the way that he phrased it, I think there's a certain quote that comes to mind. In fact, we have a quote. We went out and got this quote specifically about this issue.
Very poor choice of words.
Yeah, very poor choice of words. Thank you, Heath Ledger, for that one. I appreciate it. That is not the way he goes about saying it is just not at all what I would have gone with. You want to talk about how there aren't enough African Americans in lead roles? That's fine. Of course, Black Panther movie's coming out. Oh, he's not going to see that either. My bad. But at the same time, this is not how you go about saying this. I can't believe his handler let this get into the interview. But there it is. Okay. We got a little bit of time left before we hit the bottom of the hour news break. So let's talk about some DC news here, shall we? And this segment is brought to you by our friends over at Southtown Games. Southtown Games is located on Pleasanton Road on the south side of San Antonio in Loop 410. I have been there a couple of times. Minion has been there at least once that I know of. And this is a new sponsor for us, but these guys are fantastic. I love going into the store because their staff are so knowledgeable. If you have questions, if you like a game but you want to know more about it, you want to talk to them. They will answer questions. They will help you improve your game. You want to head over to our friends down at Southtown Games. Now, Warner Brothers announced that they have the release date for Wonder Woman 2 and 2 release dates for DC Comics movies in 2020. This was announced San Diego Comic-Con, which, by the way, keep an eye on getyourgeekon.org. We are going to be publishing news related to what comes out of San Diego Comic-Con, and oh my God, the news is everywhere. Woo, love it. The first movie will be released on Valentine's Day, 2020, February 14th. The second DC movie in 2020 will be released on June 5th. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Wonder Woman 2 will be June 5th, but no one's really sure what will be February 14th, and I'm calling my shot. I think they're going to go with Gotham City Sirens on Valentine's Day. Now, that's a comic line that features Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn. On Valentine's Day. Three ladies on Valentine's Day, and they're doing it mostly to just kind of thumb their nose at Marvel and say, ha ha, look at all the women we have and you don't.
So that's a Valentine's Day present for the guys, really.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now I've seen your cosplay as Poison Ivy. That's
I will show up at the theater. If it is Gotham City Sirens, I will show up at the theater.
Mark the tape.
Yes.
Mark the tape.
Poison Ivy.
We're absolutely going to do it. Here's the big question, though, is will it be a rated R movie?
Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, that's kind of the way things are going. So
Right.
three ladies, Valentine's Day, and rated R.
And Poison Ivy cosplay.
Sold. I am so in. All right, so I want to thank Tamara and Lisa from the Whovians of San Antonio from coming out and spending time with us to talk about all of this. Wish it could be under better circumstances, but we'll have y'all back under better circumstances for sure. Right back here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 930amtheanswer.com.
Hi, this is Marina Sirtis, and you're listening to Get Your Geek On 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
And we're having a lot of ladies on this month. I love it.
Yes.
Marina Sirtis, our guest last week, where she talked about USS Discovery, talked about her time on Gargoyles, her time on Star Trek The Next Generation. And then this week, if you missed the first half of our show, that's no problem. But you did miss Tamara and Lisa, the Whovians in San Antonio, talking about the Doctor Who controversy with Jodie Whittaker. And you can find all of that on our archive at 930amtheanswer.com or getyourgeekon.org, where all of our shows get uploaded.
And it's not even my birthday.
It's not even my birthday. Love it. Welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. I am Dave Vermillion. If you missed the first half of the show, like I said, it's no problem. You can find it on our archive. We have a lot of more news coming up, so we're just going to go ahead and kind of get the pleasantries out of the way, and we're going to dive right into some video game news here, shall we? This is brought to you by our friends over at Laser Legend on the north side of San Antonio on Lookout Road near I-35. Home of the Star Trek pinball game where I still reign supreme. Thank you very much. Home to some excellent party rooms, a 2-floor laser tag arena, indoor mini golf, and more. You want to check out our friends over at Laser Legend. Atari is back in the news. We teased this a couple of weeks ago or so, and now it's official. They have revealed the first images of a new console. Now, for those of y'all who don't remember, or perhaps are too young to remember, Atari back in the day was it. Yes, there were a bunch. There was ColecoVision and Commodore 64, and there were so many different consoles. But it was the Atari that reigned supreme until the great video game crash in 1983. And now they're back. They tried to come back during the Nintendo Sega war with the 5200 and the 7800, and then they had the Jaguar, and it just... They couldn't keep pace. They couldn't come up with a very good console, but now they're back. The design of the console features a ribbed black enclosure and a raised back, which is a lot like the original Atari design, the original Atari 2600, of which I own one. Thank you very much. It will come in 2 editions, a black console with a wood grain front panel and a black and red console with a glass front. Now, they haven't released a lot of details about this just yet, but they have said that there will be an HDMI output, an Ethernet port for the internet, as well as 4 USB ports and an SD card slot, which you can imagine will be there for expandable storage.
But how are they going to use the internet for those cartridges?
I know, right? The big fat cartridges.
So if you're a purist, you're going to go with the black console with the wood grain front panel.
Guilty. Absolutely. I mean, that there's no school like the old school. I would love to get my hands on one of those. it's exciting that they're back, but I would not expect to play Call of Duty on this thing. I can't.
No.
I can't imagine that the new Atari console will be as complex and sophisticated and as powerful as like the Xbox Scorpio or the PS4.
Well, it's going to be hard to play Call of Duty with one button and a joystick.
Well, it's not going to be that retro, but still, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. I think it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with it, but I wouldn't expect to see, playing Star Wars Battlefront on it or anything like that. I saw this article struck me. There's so much news going on and everything, but I wanted to touch on this. This is from thenextweb.com. And the headline that struck me was 5 strange things people hacked to play video games. And I'm like, okay, what did they hacked an Atari to play a PS4 game, or they hacked a PS4 to play an 8-bit Nintendo game? What are we talking about here? Yeah, no, they hacked a MacBook Pro touch bar. Not a MacBook Pro. That tiny little touch bar at the top of the MacBook Pro?
Yeah.
They hacked that.
Where they can play Seawolf with it?
No, I think they could play Doom.
Ooh.
They could actually... Now, you can't see very much because the thing is like less than the size of your pinky, but you can actually play Doom on it. There's a YouTube video on this. They also hacked a Porsche 911. That console in the middle? They hacked it in 3 minutes. And they were playing Doom on it using the car. You turn the steering wheel to the right, you go to the right. Turn the steering wheel to the left, go to the left, hit the horn. I mean, they hacked a Porsche 911. Touchscreen on a printer. On a printer. Now, this I can see. I can see this. They hacked the touchscreen of a printer to play Doom.
A lot of Doom fans out there with way too much time in their hands.
How about a thermostat? They hacked a digital thermostat to play video games. I mean...
I know people who can barely work a digital thermostat to get the temperature how they want it.
And this was the best one. I love this. This is the one that really caught my attention. A soldering iron. They hacked the display of a soldering iron. It's 5.5 millimeters by 2.5 millimeters wide, and you can play Tetris on it.
So all you soldering iron fans who just all of a sudden decide, you know what, I'm in the mood for gaming. Guess what? You can play Tetris.
They hacked a soldering iron
to play Tetris.
To play Tetris. Oh wow! So
guess what? I got a storage. If you want to play Tetris that bad, I have a storage unit that you can come and play Tetris with.
Oh my God! I mean that's. I'm so glad I saw that. I mean, yes, there's a lot of news to touch on, but where else are you going to hear about that?
Nowhere else.
So you can find that article on thenextweb.com and find out. And there are YouTube videos. Go find these YouTube videos. They're hilarious. They're awesome. So with that being said, we actually need to do a little bit of recap here. I want to talk about some news that came out of D23.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur.
All right, for those of you who aren't aware, D23 is the annual Disney Expo. That is all things Disney. Some things Star Wars, some things Marvel, but just a whole lot of Disney, hence the DuckTales song in there. But we are going to talk some Star Wars, actually. And one of the things I want to talk about was an immersive hotel that is planned.
Oh, I saw that. That looks fun.
This hotel, now, when I say this hotel, you think, oh, okay, so it's like Star Wars themed. No. It's an immersive experience. You walk in, and all of the employees, or cast members, as they say, every one of them will be in costume and in character. So when you check in, you're not checking in with somebody who works for Disney. You're checking in with somebody from the Star Wars universe, and they will be in character from the Star Wars universe. So this is truly immersive. Now, I hate to say this, but currently this is planned only for Walt Disney World in Orlando.
So do you have to get a $500 app to stay there?
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that way. What a jip, I know. But each guest will have a storyline, which Disney specifically says will, quote, touch every minute of your day, end quote. So here's my question. So what if you deviate from that storyline?
The Empire will not tolerate such insolence.
I suppose, you know. Wow.
But then
I won't tolerate it either.
But then you know what you can say to that?
What do we say to that?
I rebel.
You're not rebelling from this. Yeah, thank you, Mickey. You can sit down now. Just
Look at so gets sued for that, Mickey.
Don't know what you're talking about. I own all the lawyers. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mickey. That's enough. So each guest will have their own storyline. This is meant to take place on a spaceship. So the windows for your hotel room will only show space. I hope that I hope where they're building this, it's not like anywhere near where you would normally see fireworks, because that would suck. I want to go to Disney World to see Disney World. I don't want to go there to see space. So I'm kind of curious about, I mean, how much time do you spend at one of those hotels anyway?
Probably not a lot.
You're there to go to the parks.
Well, not in this case, you're not.
Apparently not. I guess you're going there for the Star Wars experience, to stay at the hotel, I guess, and not go to the park. I'm not sure about that one. So it'll be interesting to see how that exactly turns out. We'll keep an eye on that one for you. There was only one trailer released for The Last Jedi, and it was kind of a behind-the-scenes look, which was interesting but not very telling. Explosions, makeup, costumes, effects. Ooh, we still don't have a real trailer for The Last Jedi. We really don't. The first one they released, that it was barely even qualifies as a teaser. Haha, you'll get one when I tell you to. Shut up, Mickey. We haven't had a real trailer yet, and we're only 5 months away from the movie. I'd like a trailer at some point, if you please. Please.
Give it another 5 more months. We'll get the whole movie.
Yeah, but until we hop on our TARDIS and actually get there.
Do you really think The Last Jedi needs a trailer to get people excited about it?
It'd be nice at some point. Yeah,
need one.
It'd be nice. Now, the pictures have been released for Star Wars Land, and it looks incredibly authentic. Now, these are the same guys who made the land of Avatar, which, from what I'm hearing, is also just insanely awesome. It's like you're on Pandora. Now, say what you want about the movie, but the visual effects were fantastic. I mean, they were otherworldly, not to, make a pun or anything. So Avatar Land at Disney is also, from what I hear, just fantastic. You know what we need to do? We need a field trip. We need a road trip. We need to...
we need to actually go to that hotel and play out the story.
Yeah, we need to provide reviews.
We do.
That'd be awesome.
So Patreon.com is all I'm saying about that.
Get your geek on Patreon. We can make it happen.
Get your Patreon on.
Now, also something interesting is that this park, this Star Wars Land, will also be interactive. So let's say you go on a ride, and on that ride you actually get to choose whether you will fly for the Empire or for the Alliance. Whatever you choose will follow you through the park. So if you make an Imperial choice and you go to the next ride, it remembers that you did this Imperial choice before. If you went with the Alliance, you may find yourself stalked by a bounty hunter.
That's kind of creepy.
The employees that are dressed up as Imperial officers will know that you chose the Alliance side, and they may look at you funny. So they're trying to make this a little more immersive for you. And then this was interesting. Before I get to some Marvel news, including the first trailer from Infinity War that was shown to a private audience, Tim Burton will do Dumbo.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Make it stop.
This is the same guy who did, remember Alice in Wonderland? Okay. He will do...
The nature of that story is creepy, though.
Now, I understand Disney is trying to do all these live-action remakes and whatnot with CGI in them, but now they're going to do Dumbo with Tim Burton.
Whoever thought that was a good idea with a Dumbo, I'll tell you that one.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, the same guy who... Think about Willy Wonka in the chocolate... Or Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka, the amazing chocolate's here. That guy will be doing Dumbo.
Well, we know it's going to star Johnny Depp.
Yeah. And it'll have, what's the girl's name?
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter will be in it for sure. Yep. I wonder who Helena Bonham Carter will play. It's like, why didn't you just give him Pinocchio? Or Snow White? I mean, Dumbo? Really? Okay, boy. All right, so...
Johnny Depp is going to be the voice of the little mouse.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
I'm calling my shot right there.
Johnny Depp will be the mouse. I forget his name.
I forget his name too.
But all right, mark the tape. We'll see if your prediction will hold up on that one. So Marvel, their news is that they're going to release a VR game it's only for the Oculus Rift so far. But it's a VR game called Powers United, and it's similar, in my mind, to Star Trek Bridge Crew. In Star Trek Bridge Crew, you work with your friends to complete goals, to operate the ship, to blow stuff up together. Same thing here. You and two friends will play as Marvel superheroes and work together with your powers to defeat evil, save the day, and so on and so forth. So, same thing with the Bridge Crew concept. One person will be the Hulk, one person will be Black Widow, one person will be Rocket Raccoon. Goose, you'll be Black Widow.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, then.
You should see the Black Widow cosplay I have.
No. What happens outside the studio stays outside the studio. Just saying there. Oh, boy. No release date set as of yet, and nothing about whether or not this will be put onto other virtual reality consoles or even what they're calling augmented reality consoles. The first trailer for Infinity War was shown to a private audience. And how private? Yeah, here's what they had to do. Everybody had to take out their cell phones. Everybody had to put their cell phones into a bag.
Yes.
They passed out bags and said the cell phone goes in the bag.
I let you watch. That was a lead lined bag.
It was so noisy once it was sealed that you could easily hear someone open it up and be like, oh, okay, well, you're gone. So now before they've said, okay, yeah, no fair, no streaming this, put your phones away. This time they actually told them to put them in a bag. Now, witness accounts talk about Iron Man this and Thor that. One of the most interesting aspects that I think we have time to discuss here is Thanos. Apparently, once he has the Infinity Gauntlet with the gems in it, throws a moon. One of the shots from what we've heard about this trailer is Thanos throwing a moon.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't see Captain America deflecting that with his shield or.
Well, that just shows the limits of your imagination.
Well, no, I think it shows my realistic tendencies.
This is Marvel. Realistic tendencies don't come into play.
I'm sure Star-Lord looks at it and goes, whoa, God. Now, they did say a number of characters that were in this trailer, including the Guardians of the Galaxy and, of course, the Avengers and so on. But apparently Star-Lord will feature somewhat prominently in this trailer.
Ooh.
So some good, if you're a fan of Chris Pratt, that's some good news for you. That's always fun. No news as to when this trailer will be released to the general public. Probably sometime after the San Diego Comic-Con news has died down. Nobody wants to step on each other's toes.
No.
Nobody wants to. The easiest way Disney will piss off everybody is releasing The Last Jedi or the Infinity War trailer today. They do that, it will dwarf all other news out of San Diego Comic-Con and annoy everybody.
Well, why did they do D23 the same time as SDCC? That just seems
Well, actually,
silly.
D23 was the previous weekend. We just,
was it? Okay.
Yeah, we just didn't have all the news, so we're kind of getting caught up. It's a little bit
my
of a
bad,
recap.
my bad.
Now, speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, a lot of news is coming out, and unfortunately, this is only an hour-long talk radio show, so we just don't have the time to get into it all. But couple of news and notes that intrigued me. First of all, anybody see the video of Halle Berry?
I did not, nor do I want to. Halle
Berry did a Kingsman panel with some of her colleagues. And apparently she got razzed on because a bunch of them were drinking on stage because Kingsman, British, a pint of bitter. Yeah, get it, haha. And she hadn't been drinking all that much. And so the audience got on her colleagues got on her. And so she stood up and chugged half a pint of bourbon. The initial reports say bourbon. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just tea, or if it was Coke Zero, or I don't know. It was a dark liquid, like everybody else was drinking something like that. But apparently she chugged half a pint of bourbon on stage. Classy, but kind of cool also at the same time. I don't know. For those of y'all who are bourbon drinkers, you don't really chug bourbon, but
not for long. You don't.
No. You chug that, and then you're hitting the floor. I mean, that's just how it rolls. And then here's some other news that came out. This news broke late Thursday. Ivan Reitman made quite the interesting announcement. There's more Ghostbusters content coming.
Well, you know why that is, right?
Oh, because the one in 2016 made so much money.
Oh, there's more to it than that.
Oh, what's that?
The power of pain compels you!
That's about right. You can expect a new Ghostbusters VR experience and games being released as early as this October for the PlayStation VR.
Did you ever play the arcade game?
Oh, I think so.
It was a pretty fun little arcade game.
The one they ported over to Nintendo?
I don't think so. I think it was better than the one they ported over to Nintendo.
It might have been. But I think a Ghostbusters VR game,
that would be...
that has the potential to really be fantastic.
A couple of years ago, they had a first-person shooter.
For Ghostbusters? In VR?
Not VR.
Oh, okay. No, I would look forward to a VR experience. Can you imagine the ghost being right there?
But it was just fun being the fifth Ghostbuster.
Yeah, I'd like that too. Now, of course, we all remember that the 2016 movie, while it actually got a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It wasn't that bad.
Well, it kind of was, but it wasn't the bomb that everybody said it was. But still, it barely broke even. Barely broke even at the box office. And of course, it was oh my God. Everybody just jumped on this. The critics, the YouTube critics like the Nostalgia Critic and those guys couldn't wait to get on this movie. Angry Joe, was just giddy. Couldn't wait to just jump on this movie. But now there are, quote, and I'm quoting Ivan Reitman here. Don't quote me, quote Ivan Reitman. Quote, there are great plans for an animated feature from the point of view of the ghosts.
Ooh.
As well as, of course, a new live-action film.
Ooh.
Now, Reitman hasn't said anything about a release date or pre-production or who will be cast or if it will be based off of the new Ghostbusters from 2016 or if they're going to scrap that and go with a whole new universe or whatever. We don't know. But he did hint that it could be as early as 2019. Just a couple years away.
We could be looking at a real Ghostbusters movie.
Right now, anything's game.
Did you ever watch that series?
Yes, I did.
That was great.
Oh yeah, the real Ghostbusters.
Well, there were 2 Ghostbusters series on in the 80s.
Yeah, but there was the real Ghostbusters.
There was the real Ghostbusters.
And then there was Ghostbusters and Slimer.
No, the real Ghostbusters was Slimer.
Oh, was that it?
And then there was Slimer and the real Ghostbusters.
That's Slimer and the real Ghostbusters. That's what it was. Now, I actually had an idea myself for what the 2016 Ghostbusters movie should have been, and it should have been like an Animal House college spoof of Ghostbusters, where it's this kid in college. He's brilliant, but he's struggling. He doesn't fit in. He's on his 5th major in 2.5 years or whatever. He's always getting in trouble, but he's brilliant. He's got a great mind, and he stumbles across paranormal activity going on campus. Yeah. He gets together with a couple of his buddies who are also brilliant but misfits, and eventually, getting into some, sorority antics and, conflicting with the administration. They end up saving the day, saving the college and all that. And then it fast forwards to graduation day. And who shows up for his graduation? Sigourney Weaver. Because
it's the son.
Because, yes, it is. It's Oscar.
It's Oscar.
It's the baby from Ghostbusters 2. He's all grown up. He's gotten through college.
By the way, Ghostbusters 2, not as good as Ghostbusters 1.
Well, no, of course not. But wouldn't that be cool, though?
That would be a cool
You incorporate
idea.
Sigourney Weaver back. You have Oscar. It's college. It's fun. But it's kind of the same humor as the first Ghostbusters.
I enjoy anything that continues the story. That's why Doctor Who wasn't a true reboot. It was a continuation. Girl Meets World wasn't a reboot. It was a continuation. The 2008 Knight Rider series wasn't a reboot. It was a continuation.
Absolutely.
Continue the story. Don't just scrap it and start over.
So some new Ghostbusters content coming as early as 2019. Well, as far as the movie goes. Sorry about that, because the PlayStation VR game will be released as early as October.
Very nice.
So what's up for us? What is next for Get Your Geek On? Okay, well, first of all, you can see our review of Valerian. We saw Valerian, A City of a Thousand Planets. We saw it over at Alamo Drafthouse on Park North. Okay, correction. I saw it. Everybody else was busy. And actually, if people were wondering where Minion is, because Minion is not here tonight, his mother was just discharged from the hospital after surgery. We wish her all the best and a speedy recovery, and Minion is taking care of his mother as a son should. Yeah. So I went to go see, with a couple of friends of mine, Valerian, City of a Thousand Planets, And you can find our review, because I'm sorry, it's 2 minutes on the clock. I don't have time to review Valerian in 2 minutes. But we saw it over at Alamo Drafthouse, the Park North location in San Antonio. That is our exclusive home for watching movies. When we watch movies and do reviews, we only do them at Alamo Drafthouse. They love us. We love them right back. The Alamo Drafthouse is a fantastic place to watch your movies. That's where Get Your Geek On recommends you watch your movies. San Japan will be coming up in September, around Labor Day. So I know either Goose or Minion or both will be headed down that way to cover that for the show.
Why won't you be there?
Because I will hopefully be attending Dragon Con in Atlanta. That'll be a lot of fun. I'll head out that way. It's not officially set in stone. I may have a couple other destinations I may want to go to, but it's on my list. It's certainly on my list to cover Dragon Con.
Commit, my friend. Commit.
Well, I would commit, but I'm kind of waffling on committing to anything.
And there's some more cons we've discussed.
Yeah, there are. There's listen. People tell me, hey, come out to this con, come out to that con. I'd love to. But funding's an issue. I mean, I got to fly. I need to stay places. I need to sleep and shave, make myself look presentable and change clothes and all that. So got to eat.
So when are you going to start doing that?
That's an excellent question. And some way that you can help us out with that, if you want to help out, if you like the show and you want to continue to support the show, support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/GYGO official. A few bucks goes a long, long way, believe me. If you like what you hear, if you like the show, help support the show. Help us get some better equipment. I mean, what we've got is great, but let's face it, when we do our Facebook live recordings on Facebook.com/GYGO official, we're using Goose's smartphone. I'd like to replace that with something that one of these days. It could also help us get guests, help us get us out to cons, and so on and so forth. So lend us a little bit of a hand. It doesn't cost a lot, and you help support the show. All right, so that'll wrap it up here. If you want to tweet at us, you can find us at GYGO_official. You can shoot me an email personally at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, for Minion, and for myself, I want to thank our sponsors, Southtown Games, Laser Legend, and The Mailing Spot. Thanks for listening. May all your hits be crits, and make sure to get your geek on every single day.